inflation in over 40 years. Where the stock market just finished the worst first half of a year in more than 5 decades. We are a nation that has the highest energy cost in its history, and we are no longer energy independent or energy dominant, which we were just 2 short years ago.
That low energy,
seemingly political campaign ad
is from Donald Trump, and while he hasn't officially announced that he's running for president in 2024,
he keeps dropping these hints.
The timing of this ad, though, is interesting because he posted it on social media promptly after news broke that his residence in Mar-a-Lago was raided by the FBI, and that raid allegedly had to do with the fact that he had taken home classified documents from the White House, which does break the law. But nonetheless, it could be that he posted that to make it seem as though he is in fact running for president and the raid was a politically motivated attack against him.
But before we get to that discussion.
And it just seems like Republicans aren't bringing their best people.
Yeah, so, I'll tell you about why the ad was released both now and in general. Okay, so now because he wants to be able to say they're targeting a candidate. I mean, look at this is obviously a political ad. I'm obviously running. And so this is very political of Joe Biden's Justice Department to do this. As Anna pointed out, obviously, he actually appointed Christopher Wray. Some idiot was on TV today saying like, oh, I know who it was.
I wasn't sure that Trump was gonna run, but you know what? Because of the raid, now he's gonna run, okay?
I mean, this is like what children do. Like,
yeah, I was gonna give you the chocolate, but now that you said that mean thing, I ate it 20 minutes ago.
By the way, okay, so I guess that's what the protection is if you want to commit crime. So just announce that you're gonna run for president and then commit crimes. And if you get investigated for the crimes you're committing, you could just say that it was a politically motivated attack because you're a candidate.
Yeah.
And the deep state doesn't want you to run.
Yeah, oh, you know what? I'm such an idiot. When I ran for Congress, I should have just done like 17 bank robberies.
Yeah.
And then be like, no, that's it. I was running for office. I was running for office. We're allowed to commit grand larceny. He was running for office. I was running for office. When you're an armed bank robbery, when you're running for office.
By the way, if I was a Republican, every one of the voters would have believed that. Of course you can.
I was running for office. I was running for office. Trump has committed like half a dozen obvious crimes. They're like, great, running for office, kind of, maybe. I was running for office. I was running for office. Great, running for office, kind of, maybe. I was running for office. I was running for office. Great, running for office, kind of, maybe. There's an ad out. Now to the ad. At one point in the ad, he said,
when I was in office, we had high energy supplies.
I'm like, really? Because it doesn't look like it. I'm like, really? Because it doesn't look like it. Looks like you're running real low on energy in that ad. I mean, what was that long pause for? And I watched all 4 minutes of it. But I got jet lag. I nearly dozed off. I'm serious. I'm like sleepy Trump.
It's a super low energy ad. It's actually shocking how boring that ad is.
Yeah, and I know why. Because some scriptwriter wrote it, and you could see when he's doing it, they wanted him to say it to a crowd so that it was more exciting. But since they put it in a prompter, Trump
reads it really slow. He doesn't like to read from the prompter. He doesn't like to read at all, okay?
So he's exciting when he's off the cuff and he's saying weirdo things and people laugh, right?
Yeah.
When they put it in the prompter, he's Sleepy Donald. So they had this idea, we'll make an ad out of something you say to the crowd and it'll seem like you were really inspiring.
He doesn't like to read at all, okay?
It's also kind of amazing how much Republican voters want to hear about how terrible America is.
Thank you, that was the other point I wanted to make.
We're a nation in decline, we're awful, everything about us is terrible.
Like, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's too much to
Yeah.
I mean, there's too much to
I mean, there's two
parts of that, right? One is like they'll blame the left all the time, like, yeah, you hate America. And they'll be like, What?
Liberals hate America.
What?
You guys crap all over again.
Now the second part of that is,
Wait, you were just president for less than 2 years ago. And you were president for 4 years.
and he's like,
You see how much America sucks?
Why did you fix it? It's not like you weren't president.
I know.
Maybe a little less time using your position of power to enrich yourself and funnel taxpayer money into your Trump properties. Yeah. Spend more time fixing the problems that you purport to be concerned about. We
boom,
won't
we'll
do
be
that,
independent
of course.
instantly. Yeah, you want to do it?
Exactly.
Okay. In that pause, I was like, is he really gonna say braid? Is he really gonna say?
Now, what the Chinese know is that Donald J. Trump has a very, very large.
And then he didn't actually say braid. He said a braid.
Very, very large a brain, okay? A brain up here, very mucho grando, okay?
See, but that's the exciting Trump. That's the funny Trump.
It is.
Like, it's so funny that they wrote that script for him to make it dramatic.
You're not winning with scripts, Trump. You're not.
Yeah.
You're not. It's actually, look, I think it's more of an asset to be able to speak off the cuff and be entertaining and charismatic. And as much as you might dislike him or hate him and disagree with him, as we do, you gotta call a spade a spade. Putting a script in front of him is like putting him in shackles.
Yeah. You see,
I believe we are going to make a comeback.
Hey.
The slow motion clap.
Oh, yeah.
Point.
yeah.
I love that they use
No.
that same shot several times in this 4-minute ad. Like,
yeah. No. Get him off the prompter, man. Get him back onto his very, very large
what are
braid.
you pointing at? What?
Okay.
So good.
Donald J. Trump has a very, very large.
Let me show you Uranus, okay? All right, there's Uranus right there. You see it? Did you see it?
That was my anus. Charlie Kirk, who is a Trump loyalist, of course, was furious that the FBI had raided Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago, and so he tweeted the following.
How many of the perverts whose names are written in Jeffrey Epstein's black book have had their homes raided by the FBI since the Ghislaine Maxwell trial concluded? Well, Charlie,
I'm glad you asked.
so far before
Before
the raid into Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence,
none of those people had been raided.
after Trump's raid,
One.
Oh, snap!
not too long ago, Trump was specifically asked about Ghislaine Maxwell. This was before the conclusion of the trial she was facing for her part in grooming underage girls to be abused by Jeffrey Epstein.
And here's how Trump reacted to news of that trial.
Don't know. I haven't really been following it too much. I just wish her well, frankly.
I wish her well,
I wish her well.
Trump said at the time. So
Literally the biggest groomer in American history.
Fuck her right in the pussy.
And Republicans look at that and go,
Oh yeah, he's the one protecting us.
so like the mainstream media would be like,
Oh my God, if they raided Bill Clinton, that would be outrageous, okay?
but Donald Trump, that makes sense. No, I don't. If there had evidence related to Epstein about Bill Clinton or Donald Trump, go get them.
raids for everybody.
Yes. Why? Why are we protecting these people?
Listen, there is nothing more liberating than untethering yourself,
Untethering yourself.
from unwavering loyalty to a specific politician or to a specific political party.
Untether yourself.
Yeah. So and right wingers, you're always talking about freedom.
Red pill versus blue pill. Oh, we know, man, we know what's going on.
You should investigate everybody else on Epstein's list, but not our beloved Trump. He clearly knew, but don't investigate our beloved Trump. Why? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
It's because you're all blinded by partisanship. Anna's 100% right.
Untether yourself.
Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, whose husband showed his
Penis
to
minors.
in the middle of a busy bar while he was with Lauren Boebert's stepfather, decided to use TYT as an avenue in which she could attack Joe Biden, but she did it in a fascinating way. So let's take a look. Here's the tweet.
Even the Young Turks, the most brain-dead liberals,
I didn't have trouble getting my high school diploma,
with the ability to live stream, know that Biden's victory lap on gas prices is absolute bullcrap.
And that's right, gas prices are super high, still high, even though they've been coming down. You credit where credit is due, but is the credit meant for Joe Biden?
What a stupid son of a bitch.
It's a little complicated. I try to talk a little slowly, so.
Lauren Boebert, who had difficulty in getting her GED, can understand what I'm talking about.
But call us brain dead.
We're something called honest. We're something called honest. So that's why we criticize Democrats all the time, and that's why we criticize Republicans all the time, because there's a lot to criticize. And we have an honest critique of the Biden administration. In fact, if you watch the show, there's tons and tons of that. Democrats complain nonstop about how much we criticize establishment Democratic leadership, Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, etc., because we're honest. Okay, but unlike like the fake left wing, like the Tulsi Gabbards, Glenn Greenwalds, etc., we also
Criticize the right wing.
Like Donald Trump can never do anything wrong. Really? Everybody else can lie, but Donald Trump can't lie? Idiots like Lauren Boebert believe that. They're like,
oh yeah, that's a liar. Trump, oh, innocent, perfectly innocent Donald Trump says the truth every time.
You have to be incredibly stupid to believe that. Really, like record breaking.
It's a little complicated. I try to talk a little slowly.
All right, and the other thing is, to Anna's point, we're consistent.
It's like Jabba the Hutt.
You know, we've talked about this on the show for 20 years now.
If we had taken classified documents out of the White House
and we stashed it at home,
you think we would get a subpoena 2 months ago?
And we stashed it at home,
asking us politely to hand over the documents?
And we stashed it at home.
And before the raid happens?
No, they would raid us immediately.
There would be no discussion, we'd already be in prison.
No, they would raid us immediately.
Press is supposed to hold people in positions of power accountable. They're supposed to speak truth to power.
No, they would raid us immediately.
Two different kinds of people in the world.
Bitches for the elite.
And then people who actually want to.
Bitches.
People who actually want.
Bitches.
A fair and honest and just society. That's the reality here. Now, what am I talking about when I say
bitches for the elite?
Lauren Boebert happens to be one of them. Yeah, I said it.
Bitches for the elite.
Yeah. So listen.
Notice that the right wing never has a problem with the FBI when they're raining terror on ordinary Americans.
Like Muslim students. They infiltrated student organizations that had Muslim students in them. Okay, with no like real probable cause or anything. You're just like, oh, they're Muslims. Oh, they're Muslims. Oh, they're Muslim, and 9/11 happened, and like let's just infiltrate Muslim groups. Why not? Oh, they're Muslims. Oh, they're Muslims. Oh, they're Muslims. No problem when you have the intelligence community working to orchestrate coups of democratically elected leaders in other countries. No, when they talk about going after the FBI, understand that it's not because they want to criticize it for raining terror on ordinary people. It's just that they want the FBI
to work for them.
That's really what's going on here.
Yeah, so a couple points on that. Her voters don't want the truth. They don't care, hey, did Donald Trump really hide national security documents and classified documents?
Why is he hiding them? Why won't he tell us what's in the warrant?
They don't care about that. They just think Trump's my guy. I don't want you to prosecute him.
To work for them.
That's kind of what the Gestapo would do. And so, but they just don't care about that. And look, about the warrantless wiretapping. Let's talk about that for a second. That targeted real Americans, right? We know for a fact that George W. Bush, a Republican president, did it. And every Republican at the time was like,
no, it was awesome. You have to spy in on Americans, real Americans that have no power. Crush them, right?
Crush them, right? Crush them, right?
And to be fair to those guys, they assume that about us because that's what mainstream media does. They cover for Obama. Really?
Bitches for the elite.
dick.
On August 5th, I was woken up by London police services pointing an assault rifle in my face at my home.
That was a popular transgender Twitch streamer by the name of Keffels, and she was swatted.
She was swatted
by right-wing bigots who have been targeting her.
By right-wing bigots who have been targeting her.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some citation there.
Now, I don't want to put words in her mouth. I think it's important to hear from her. So let's take a listen to another portion of this video. So let's discuss why Clara Sorrenti, and that's her real name, is being targeted. It's because she uses her platform on Twitch to fight for transgender rights.
And she has been targeted relentlessly by right-wingers who hate her, who hate watch her, who follow her every move.
In this case, she had already reported that she'd been swatted multiple times to the police, and her brother, she explained in the video, asked the police, hey, can you put us on a list of people who get swatted regularly? And the cops laughed at them. And they said,
oh yeah, right, sure, yeah, whatever.
And then they get swatted, and then they go ruin their lives.
Oh yeah,
and
right,
so,
sure, yeah, whatever.
Are they gonna do as serious an investigation of the swatter? Because there's no winning here.
Because the right-wing monsters have been unleashed.
And so, by the way, almost no one on the right wing ever gets swatted.
So I gotta
no, son.
Jump in real quick.
Except maybe Tim Pool.
Yeah.
So she's very brave. God bless her for doing it. And look, 90% of what right wingers say are lies. So that's why I say maybe Tim Pool got swatted. But all right, here, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
He once got swatted while he was live on air.
Yeah, so fine. Let's assume this is in the 10% where Tim is not lying. And it sounds credible, okay? Of course that's terrible, of course it is. But the left wing are generally speaking,
except for apparently that clown,
are decent human beings who want us to get along. The right wing think violence is the answer.
Punching Nazis? Punching Nazis?
And wouldn't it be funny if they got murdered by the cops? That'd be so funny.
The problem is where she lives in Ontario, they don't have laws against swatting.
Well, don't be an idiot. Don't you have laws?
And I'm saying that to the cops.
Don't you have laws for reporting false crimes? You don't have that law? Oh, so we could just say, hey, you know, the sheriff in that town or the local head of the police, he murdered his wife, go get him. You don't have that law? So what? I'm just, you don't have any laws. You don't have that law? Of course you have a law. You could use that law. You just don't want to do it. Instead, hey, you have a lot of laws where you're oppressing her. You don't have that law? So what? I'm just, hey, you have a lot of laws where you're oppressing her. Just, you've got a lot of time to oppress her. Just, you're helping the crime. Wake up. You don't have that law? And do something about it before somebody gets hurt. Just wake up.
Now, less than 2 weeks after the incident,
right-wing bigots.
Progressives look for justice in many different issues, on issues that you've all heard about. For example, when unarmed black men are killed, or unarmed black children are killed, like Tamir Rice, a 12-year-old, was killed in 2 seconds flat in Ohio. We seek justice for those things. The right wing, on the other hand, go,
oh, that's a trans person. It's an opportunity to hate her, harass her, and maybe get her killed. Let's have fun. Let's do that.
The right wing is just driven by hate.
So they're like, oh, you're different than us, so obviously we hate you, and we're gonna try to harass you for the rest of your life. Oh, you're Muslim, you're trans, you're on the left.
You're cool, and fuck you, I'm out.
We hate you, we hate you, we hate you. It's driven by hate.
But look, the thing that gets me about all of this, right, is imagine being such an insecure loser that you get this worked up over someone who just has a lifestyle that you don't like.
Plenty of people out there do things I don't like.
But I also have a life.
The idea of spending this much time in trying to figure out where someone is just so I can demonize them, scare them, send them pizzas. If you guys want to get laid, this ain't it.
Okay.
Spending all your time being a pathetic, insecure loser who goes after transgender streamers, this ain't it. So if any of these people are self-described incels, you're an incel for a reason.
No one wants to sleep with a guy who does this kind of stuff.
Oh no, you don't know how tough and awesome I am. I found a random transport streamer and I targeted her for hate, and I nearly got her killed.
Who's gonna be excited by that other than your fellow incel? Right? No woman is gonna find that attractive. You're gonna find it absolutely gross. This is the stuff that people on the left have to deal with all the time. That's why I get a little annoyed when one of the elites has to deal with it for like a second.
Did anybody know what's going out there in the internet? Oh my God.
And of course the cops couldn't care less.
You guys want to get laid?
We're in. It's a story of courage and heroism, of heart-pounding suspense.
Here, the Dark Brandon. Reaction after the White House tries to rebrand the president. Cringe taken to a new level? Definitely.
Never thought I would agree with Faulkner, but I definitely agree. This is pretty cringy. Now, the Dark Brandon meme, again, was originally an internet meme intended to make fun of Joe Biden, but now it's being used to celebrate him. It's cringy no matter what. Please stop doing it. The only time it's not cringy is when it's being used ironically.
No, that's what I was gonna say. To be fair, when they started Dark Brandon, it was actually really funny because it was like Biden was gonna put an end to all the malarkey. People are now unironically loving Dark Brandon. Dark Brandon's an ass kicker and doesn't care about anything, and will break the rules to go punish Republicans, right? And to fight back and to get things done. The reason why it's popular is because Joe Biden
doesn't do any of that stuff.
But Dark Brandon laserized them with his courage.
That's how tough Dark Brandon is.
Okay, like, we need to have higher expectations. That's all I'm saying. Like, we need to have some standards here. That's the thing that's like really getting to me when it comes to voters on both sides. Like the insanely low standards. We're not winning with these low standards. Must have higher standards.
Okay.
Would you let your daughter date this Dark Brandon character?
What a weird, is that what we're worried about? That your daughter's gonna go out with no malarkey Dark Brandon?
I'm just trying to communicate this in a more personal way, right? Because I think people are like actually a little detached from what's going on in the country because they see it as like a sporting event. Politics is just a sporting event, right? No, this isn't a sporting event. These are people who make decisions that literally impact our day-to-day lives.
Yeah.
So have better standards. Higher, aim higher.
So just be real on the upsides and the downsides. But that bill that everybody's going,
historic bill. The lowering inflation and debt and every other thing, and we're the champions of the world bill, right?
It's 5% change. It's the same 5% we always get. If that's what Dark Brandon is, he's gonna have to get a lot darker.
I mean, would a kick-ass politician not know how to pronounce the name of his HHS secretary who he appointed himself?
Hell yes.
He keeps calling him Javier Baccaria. I'm not kidding.
Why? You know why? Because that's what Dark Brandon would do. Dark Brandon doesn't say your name right. He says it wrong on purpose.
That's right, Baccaria.
Oh, I know where Dark Brandon, I know his origin story. He once
met a guy named Corn Pop. And it turned him into Dark Brandon. He wrapped this metal chain around his arm and he said, Corn Pop, you better get out of here, huh? And then he went,
Dark Brandon's an ass.
I was gonna put him,
Okay.
Like.